right, well, welcome to the podcast. I'm Mike Cibola.
And I'm Louisa Winters, and together we are
Mid-Atlantic
Mid-Atlantic Drones. Woohoo!
Hey, I saw your blog the other day, Louisa, on your flights to the ghost town in Nelson, Nevada.
Oh my God, that's such a great place. It's so scenic to fly there.
Yeah, you got some great shots. What is it, about an hour from Nevada, from Las Vegas?
Yeah, we were staying right next to the convention center, and it took roughly an hour on a Sunday morning. So it's not too far, and it's just in the middle of nowhere.
It is. It really is. Well, especially if you're from the East Coast like we are, middle of nowhere. Everything's in the middle of nowhere out there. I remember driving, and then there was this, I don't know if you saw that massive solar array.
Oh my God, like 3 miles of
crazy
just
big.
solar panels.
Yeah, it was
I did see
amazingly
that.
large. And,
It's incredible.
and that's right about where you turn to go into towards Nelson on that really small 2-lane road
Right.
through the desert, which was also really cool.
It's amazing.
It was. And there was total mountains around there, but there was just before you get to the ghost town is I guess the town of Nelson proper.
Yes, it's just a couple of houses there and just beautiful mountains.
Yeah,
I mean, just unbelievable.
I flew there and I got some great shots, and the problem I found though was once I got back and started looking at the footage, I realized that scale. You look at these things and it's like, well, you can't really tell how large they are. It looks like some of them could have been boulders,
Right. It's deceiving. The mountains are much taller than you can tell from the video or even from being there, just standing on the ground and looking up. They are much taller, as I found out with my drone. It's like maximum height flight reached.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess I could have done something. Maybe found a hiker. I don't know, or used, I guess in that case, a vehicle. You can't just find hikers. Hey, walk over this mountain for me. But maybe find a vehicle and go over the vehicle. There were some vehicles on the roads and stuff.
For that, you need like a 4-wheel drive, which I didn't have. I had a regular sedan, which is what I rented. But next time I'm renting a 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, I had a rental car. Don't tell them I drove out there. But,
well, they know. I told my guys I would. So they're like, we don't care.
Yeah. Everybody does it. And I guess, and so that's probably maybe half a mile from the actual El Dorado, the old abandoned ghost town of El Dorado.
Right. Which was a gold mine. I'm figuring, because that's what it's called, El Dorado mine, and the ghost town they just made on top of all of that. So there were people that lived there and still do. I don't know if you know that. Those are actually their houses, and I guess there was a gold mine or something.
Yeah, the gold rush in the 1800s,
right.
And this is left over from that. And the mine is across the street from the town that you flew, the actual, the scenic little thing that everybody goes to.
Yeah.
And they actually still give tours of the mine. I don't know if you can actually go in or how far you go in, but yeah.
That's great. We didn't. We just flew the drones and all of that. But and they have kayaks and all that, so there must be a river really nearby.
Yeah, the place is kind of unforgiving though. I mean, before we got the warning before we went out there, the guy from the ghost town was showing us some pictures of the cactus and also he pulled a frozen rattlesnake out of the freezer and said, "You'll find these." We thought he was going to offer some ice cream or something.
Yeah, we were warned about those too. I know, right?
But they've got some really mean rattlesnakes out there.
Yeah, and the cacti, apparently, if you get caught by one, you got to go to the emergency room.
Yeah, what is it? Choya
cactus. Choya cacti.
They have these barbs that they go in your skin. Really hard to get out. It's like getting fish hooks, and they have hundreds of them on each plant. They're beautiful though.
Oh,
they're
gorgeous.
very lovely, but people have fallen in them, and it's just like they call them jumping cactus or something, because it seems like you get close to them and the needles jump onto you. Of course,
right, and they're like fish hooks. I mean, once they're in, it's like you can't get them out. So it's thankfully we escaped those, and we escaped the rattlesnakes.
Yeah,
too.
it's a beautiful place, but overall, I think it's kind of overdone. I mean, it's overrated a little bit.
No, it's like everywhere you look, there's something cool to shoot. I mean,
but it's all over the internet. Everybody goes there. People have their wedding pictures taken there. It's just,
Yeah, well, but Come on now, what you have against them? So who cares? So many people shoot the Eiffel Tower. Still, come on.
I don't know. There might have been a small incident. Let me just put it that way. At one of my trips there.
An incident.
Well, yeah, just call it that. It left a deep emotional scar. I don't think we have to go into it too much.
Oh no! Yeah. Now we do have to get into it.
Okay.
So what happened?
I kind of lost my first drone there. My first ever losing my drone. I don't like to talk about it too much.
What, a cactus jumped out and grabbed it?
I wish. Yeah, I mean, sort of like is what happened. I don't know, but it auto landed. Okay.
Okay. No crash, because we both crashed.
No. It was not a crash. I'm going to put that on the record. It's not a crash. It was an auto land. I got too far away. The winds were heavy. I couldn't come back, and it landed in the cactus somewhere. I know exactly where it is.
It auto landed.
I know exactly where it is, but with those cactus and rattlesnakes, I didn't go after it. But anyway, I did have a visual observer. The visual observer, lost sight of it at the wrong point, and I had to hit the go home button, and it just didn't quite make it. Which, a couple of teaching points here. One, don't hire your brother-in-law to be your visual observer.
That's funny.
But,
that's funny.
But also, there are a lot of different hazards where you fly, especially if you go into mountains, and you have to take account for
the winds and the man-eating cacti. I mean, that's one that I would totally stay away from.
The winds should not be overrated. Somebody told me once, and it was a very good point, is that you should always station yourself downwind if you can, because you don't want to be flying back into the wind.
Right.
You fly out into the wind, and then if you're coming back and you're low battery, you're coming with the wind, and it helps a little bit. And the winds out there are fierce, and you don't realize how fierce they are up, when you get up higher in those mountainous areas. It's really pretty crazy. So one thing you should do is set your battery level warnings higher.
Higher, right? So if you are flying against the wind when it comes back, right? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's
and also be cognizant of the temperatures. Temperatures will also, it's hot out there. They'll kind of run your battery life down a little bit.
Absolutely.
Your way to. However you want to put that, but
absolutely. Nothing that tragic happened when I was flying it. I just flew during the day, and then we flew at night. But that's another story. And it was actually very pleasant. I mean, there were groups of people, and obviously I wasn't going to fly above people. But they were in like herds and like mini herds. They would go from one place to the other, and I would take advantage while they were walking to just fly whatever I wanted. And I got some really nice stuff.
They got some new stuff since I've been there. I saw the jet fighter.
I know that wasn't there before.
I don't think that was there. I don't think that was there in the 1800s.
No, it was not.
Artistic license on their part.
Right. So now they have 2 crashed planes, and let me tell you, the tilt shift. I did that with a couple of stills. That worked out great on that little fighter plane. Yeah.
What's the tilt shift?
So the tilt shift is when it looks like everything is a miniature, like you're shooting a little miniature thing. So, eventually we're going to have a podcast on that. But basically you increase the saturation of the colors and the evenness of the colors, because it has to imitate, like if you were painting a model, And then because you're shooting macro, not really, but it's what you're trying to imitate, you have most things out of focus. And you only have one central point in focus. It looks really good, and it works for video and for photos really, really well. And we'll have a podcast about that.
I saw a couple of comments on some of your stills, and they were like, "Oh, it looks like a miniature."
Yeah, right.
Well, there you go. That's
the idea. That's exactly the idea. So yeah, worked out really well.
In the desert, other desert conditions, some things you need to watch out for besides wind. Sand, blowing sand and things, that's always a problem.
That was the biggest obstacle that I faced. It was, I didn't bring my launch pad because, I was in Vegas, I would have had to check it, and quite frankly, I was too lazy to bring it. So, what to do? We ended up taking like metal tables, which, as you know, interference with the GPS, right? Trailers, and even the hand. So launching from the hand, listen, I've done it. I've done it many times. It's the only way that you can do it from a little boat, you know. But I don't recommend it unless, you know, you're either not too attached to your fingers, or or you have a lot of experience. Because
well, if you've
let me
done
tell
it
you,
a couple of times, you may not be attached to your fingers anymore.
well, that's true. That is
careful,
absolutely true. But I mean, we ended up not just launching, but even landing on the hands. And I was flying the little Mavic 2 Pro, which, as you know, doesn't have any legs to speak of. So that was a little challenging. But you know, still, look, still got my fingers.
Did you find other photographers there?
There were some, but there were no other drone pilots. A friend of mine was shooting 360 photos and video. That was really interesting. And there were just amateur photographers. So a lot of tourists. That's why I'm saying, you know, they went in like herds, like mini herds, from one place to the other. So yeah, the owners are very drone friendly. It's not free to shoot there, but it's very inexpensive. I think they charge like $10 an hour.
Yeah, so you need to check in at the desk.
Right.
There's an office. They've got cold drinks. They've got ice cream and snacks there. You can go in and just kind of relax. It's kind of a little lounge area. Some old photographs. They'll show you. At least they showed us an album.
They did.
A scare album, what I called it, of you know, people with cactus stuck in them.
Right. So they give you advice, and they just tell you not to bother the people who actually live there, which, you know, it's a good idea. We don't want to bother anyone, so yeah.
And down the road even further, so you've got the town of Nelson with some mountains, some nice flowing area there. You have the El Dorado ghost town. And if you keep going just a little further, maybe another mile or two down that road, I don't know if you went, there's a river there.
Oh, that's where the river is. No,
yes,
I didn't go to. Next time.
And it's nice and scenic down there. There's a few sites you can. There's some pull-off areas. I didn't notice any official you know, parking areas or anything, but there are some pull-off areas where you can pull off pretty easily off the road and launch your drone there if you'd like to, and get some nice shots.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was kind of cool to see. So.
Definitely next time I'm gonna do that, because I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna go not just during the day but at night. More on that on a later podcast, because that was amazing. So Mike, that was my day. I had a blast. I'm sorry you had your first
what was years ago? I want to say it was years ago.
Experience.
It was first starting out. Not that I haven't crashed since then, but again, it wasn't a crash. It was
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll believe him. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's it for this podcast. If you want more specifics on Luisa's adventures, go to our homepage, midatlanticdrones.com/blogs. Click on the link for the El Dorado or the Nelson
Ghost Town, right? And if you liked it, please follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and Instagram.
Great. For Mid-Atlantic Drones, I'm Mike Sabola.
And I'm Luisa Winters. See you next
time.